This week, Root of Nightmares is the weekly featured raid, so if you still need to get the Conditional Finality, now is a great time to farm for it. In today's video, we're going to walk through the final boss encounter together and cover everything you need to know to get efficient farms going. Before we get into the guide, I do have a Discord if you want to interact with me, stay up to date on my live streams and content, find teammates for farms, and get PvE help from me, so feel free to join my Destiny 2 communities. Links are in the description, we would love to have you. And if you learned anything from today's video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny 2 tips, tricks, and guides. Now, let's get started. Conditional Finality is a short-range, dual-barrel shotgun that shoots stasis and solar pellets. Stasis for the first and solar for the second shot. It is obtainable from the final boss encounter in the Root of Nightmares raid. Conditional is one of the best shotguns you can use in PvP with its ability to freeze and ignite opponents when you hit a majority of your pellets, making it great for easy double kills. It is also one of the best counters to Ward of Dawn and Well of Radiance in the game, as you can freeze opponents while they're standing in these two supers and kill them through shatter damage, which is why it's at the top of the meta currently. A couple tips before you start your runs: I would highly recommend starting the encounter and wiping to get Nezarec out of his crystal. His whole intro dialogue thing he does for the first time you load up the checkpoint eats into the timer you have before he starts the wipe mechanic, which we'll get into shortly. But after wiping once, he is no longer encased in that crystal and there will be no dialogue, allowing your runners to start right away and have more time to finish their node sequences. For better team coordination, I would also highly recommend that you and your team pick a predetermined plate to do DPS on when it comes time for damage. Doesn't really matter which one you pick as long as your whole team is on the same page there. I will say though, my favorite is the second to last plate on the light side. Here you won't get booped off the map and there's nothing majorly obstructing your view from the boss like some of the other plates. As for team comp, you'll need to split up your team into the following roles. 2 runners, 1 person to take Nezarec's aggro, aka his hatred, and the rest will be on ad clear, 1 left, right, and middle. Runners, your job is to complete the node sequence on your respective side, 6 in total. Once each node sequence is complete, you can start damage. If your runners are fast enough, they can complete all nodes before the wipe mechanic is triggered, allowing your team to skip it entirely. Could be a good idea to have your warlocks on Well of Radiance run since they have an Icarus stash, or Strand with grapple grenades if you think you're going to be tight on time. If you've never ran before, all you need to do is grab the buff at the plate with the aura around it and take it to the next node. You can either shoot the node or look down at the plate and punch it once. After you activate the next node, head back to the plate with the aura around it, grab the buff again, and repeat until all nodes are done. For the team member taking Nezarec's hatred, your job is to basically babysit him and make sure he doesn't launch your runners into the air with the annoying void grenades, and to prevent him from running around whacking everyone. Your other job is to call out the correct refuge color needed just in case your runners aren't fast enough, thus needing to worry about the wipe mechanic. To do this, I would recommend using a sniper rifle to shoot Nezarec's shoulders and then call out the color that pops out of him. Keep it in mind just in case you need it later. You then need to shoot Nezarec in the chest as soon as it starts glowing during this animation. This prevents his hatred from launching any of your runners into the air. Do be aware this makes him focus on you and only you for the duration that the Nezarec's hatred timer is active. That's good though, cause now your runners are free to do their job. You are now babysitting the angry toddler that this boss is. While you have his hatred, I would actually encourage you to get closer to Nezzy so that you force him to do his jump and leap animation. As soon as he starts this animation, what you can actually do is run towards him, which forces his AI to go right over you. From what I understand, his AI targets your last location when the animation starts. As soon as he lands, just turn around and he should do it again. If he doesn't, walk closer to him a little bit. With this method, you can keep him locked in this loop if you keep his hatred timer on you at all times. So make sure to shoot him in the chest a few times when it's glowing to refresh that hatred timer. For the left and right ad clear, you can actually help out a little with the mechanics as well. At the very start of your run, stand inside the starting node with your runner on the opposite side you're going to do ad clear on to grab the buff with them. That means if you're doing right lane ad clear, stand with the light runner and vice versa with the left ad clear. You're then going to run to the first play of the opposite color you started at and deposit the buff there. Just make sure the runner has activated the node first. This creates both light and dark refuges just in case your team needs to worry about the white mechanic. Speaking of the white mechanic, it's totally fine if you need to get to the refuge during your runs, by the way. All you have to do is remember the color called out by your aggro holder and go to that first play of the color he emitted when his shoulders were shot to grab the correct refuge. You'll know the white mechanic is being triggered when Nezarec starts glowing. He will then hover in the air and emit a deadly shockwave that will kill you unless you have the correct refuge. After the white mechanic ends, he will then teleport back up to his spawn stage and your runners can continue their sequences. It's important to make sure that your runners do not finish all the nodes until Nezi is off his platform. If you begin damage while he is still up at his platform, he can bug out and be stuck up there for most of the damage phase and your run will be scuffed. To prevent this, the runners should wait to finish at least one side of the nodes until the aggro holder regains Nezarec's hatred. Once he jumps back down, then all the nodes can be completed to begin damage. Once you're ready to begin damage, head over to the predetermined plate and get ready. The DPS phase is actually tied to the amount of ads still alive, so if damage hasn't started yet and you're standing there wondering what's taking so long, just kill some ads to help speed up the process. You can also look up above his crystal to see the beam of light build up so you have a better idea of when DPS is about to start. Once the giant beam of light hits Nezarec, you and your team can begin DPS. In terms of what to use for damage, the usual Well of Radiance or two with a Gallahorn, Attractor or Tether for a debuff, and Illumina for the extra damage buff should be fine to get a consistent one phase. If you're using rockets here, be careful because Nezi sucks and he will teleport and jump around all over the place. If you're missing too many rockets, it's a pretty good chance you might not get the one phase. Oh yeah, and he can also suppress you out of your abilities and any damage supers, so be careful of that too. If you need to, just repeat this entire process until he's dead. Once he falls over, collect your loot at his platform and run the checkpoint back. I wish you all luck on your farms for Conditional Finality this week. May RNG be ever in your favor. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.